Okay guys, I am not a welder. I just happen to own a welder, so I use it more like a hot glue gun than anything, so be kind. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Motorcycle Rewind, and today we're back with the CB750 that we picked up a couple of weeks ago. To be honest, it's been in the back of the truck for 4 weeks because I made a commitment to myself that I wasn't taking it out until I finished the CB360. Since I had weeks to collect parts, I've got everything that we need to go ahead and put it together. It was missing the side covers, the fairing, the cowl for the back. It had a mismatched wheels, so I went with the reverse Comstars that it had on the rear. You can tell that it's got the regular Comstars on the front. It was mismatched, so we're going to go ahead and clean this thing up. I found the exhaust, as you guys may or may not remember. It had the optional insertable exhaust for those quiet nights alone, right? Because if you had exhaust like that, you were spending those nights alone. Like I said, we have everything, even a wiring harness that we need, because this one is, as we can see, is pretty haggard. It's pretty rough, and it's got all the Scotch clips. This thing must have had a fairing. So, and I even got the correct front headlight bucket holder, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to get busy to do it. I just saw that it's got the fancy bolts. This one is not even in all the way. That's holding that on. It's not even screwed in. Who knows what we'll find once we dig into it. But let's go ahead and get you guys set up. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and take off the trash parts, pieces I'm not going to need. Good thing I've got, it really is a good thing that I have, that I went ahead and picked up a new harness, because this is bad news. Look at these wires. They're so bad. Everything is just dry rotted, just brittle, just coming apart. So we'll get this out of here. Back you up a little bit. We'll get this out of here and see if we can kind of get rid of some of the pieces and parts we're not going to use. That way when we clean it, we got the kind of crap out of the way that we don't need. Come on. There's that one. Jeez. Look at these. We're like, can I add another accessory? Can I add another accessory? Look at this. This is bananas. Yeah, we also have just other bars for it. Not as high, not like cafe bars or anything like that, but just something that fits a little bit better. Yeah, headlight bucket's not in bad shape. It's got some rust on it. As you can see, it's got some rust on it. But we'll soak it in some Evaporust and get it clean. I gotta go pick up a battery for this thing. And when I'm out, I may just pick up several gallons of vinegar just to soak it in until it's cheaper than a Vaporust. Look at this guy. It's not in bad shape. It needs to be cleaned up. And then I need to figure out what this is all about. They apparently didn't get something together quite right. So we'll try to check it out and see what's going on. Take it apart and see if we can get something to work. There it is. Found it. Again, wanted to buy a cover for the fuse box, and this is something you gotta remember. Sometimes if you're looking for an emblem, it may be cheaper to buy a cracked up, smashed side cover to get the emblem if it's got an emblem on it, or than it is to buy just an emblem. And this is such a great example. Speaking of cracked up, smashed up side cover, I was trying to find the cover to this, and I could find them, but they were like 70 bucks. But I found the whole one of these for cheaper. I don't need the whole thing, although I do, because this wiring would be better without it. But again, it was cheaper to find the whole thing and buy half price than it would be to just buy the individual one. And it's in considerably better shape. So just a tip, if you're looking for just a cover, sometimes it helps to look for the whole thing. Or if you're looking for an emblem, sometimes it helps to just look for the whole thing. And you're just looking for the right color. Doesn't matter the condition of the side cover or the whole thing, right? Looking at this fuse box. So, nice little tip. Okay guys, it's cleaning day on the CB750K 1979. We're gonna start with some engine degreaser, just hosing everything down. Doesn't look like this thing's been cleaned in a while. Engine looks pretty clean. It's just got a bunch of stuff all over it, so we're gonna clean it really good. I got several cans of this stuff that we're gonna use it liberally. Try to get it nice and clean. I've got the carbs covered. Looks like that blue paint is gonna come right off. We're gonna paint everything after, but if I can get it nice and clean, it'll make it so much better. Get this can done. So I'm gonna keep doing this. We're gonna let this stuff set up while we get the pressure washer going, and I'm gonna get back to you when we're pressure washing. Fumble. Let me set you up over here. Maybe it'll be less dangerous. Okay. I think that looks better. As you can tell, we got off most of the blue paint, but we're just going to hit it with some Scotch-Brite, and then we're going to go ahead and paint the frame right over. I didn't worry about the exhaust too much, because we're pulling that exhaust off and putting the new exhaust on that we have. It looks so much better. The shocks look better. We're going to pull the shocks off and soak them and get the rust off anyway, and polish up the tops a bit. But I think it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Like I said, it didn't do too much on this wheel, which this Comstar is going to be for sale, because I gotta put this one on so that way I match. So let me bring you guys inside. Let me blow this off, and then we'll get back in it in just a moment. Okay, so we're here with the fender, the rear fender, and this is after we pressure washed it before. I'm going to come back through and polish this, but there's a few things I have to fix. As you can see right here, there's a crack, and there's a little crack right here. So I'm going to weld those two up right there. See, I'm going to grind it under here, hit it with a flapper, and then just weld that in. And then what I'm going to do is cut a little piece of sheet metal to go in right there, and then weld that in just so it makes it a little stiffer. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out of some sheet metal, and then after I weld this, I'm going to grind it smooth. I'm going to put that piece of sheet metal, and then I'm going to plug weld it, spot weld it across, just so it's in there nice and tight. So let me go cut this out, and I'll get back to you in just a moment. Okay guys, I am not a welder. I just happen to own a welder, so I use it more like a hot glue gun than anything, so be kind. Okay, get some up here. I know it's awful, but it's better than it was. That's all I'm looking at. If I can save it a bit, that's what we're doing. There we go. Let's go grind that down with the flapper and I'll be right back. Okay, there you have it. We got it nice and clean on both sides. If I flip it over, you can see it clean. Not the best, but hey, it's light years better than what it was. And now we get to stick this guy in right there and weld that in. So let me get you set up and then we're gonna get that guy stuck in there. Again, not a welder. Okay guys, there we have it. I've plug welded and went with the flapper and got it down. Not the best welds in the world. Again, I'm not a welder. I don't profess to be one. I own a welder, and if you have it, use it, right? There's no reason why this Fender should just be tossed because it's busted. And if you can repair it, and so what? So what if it's not the best in the world? You know what? I did it. I did it, which is awesome, right? So I only show you because if I can do it, anybody can do it, right? Again, I'm not an expert at any of this stuff, but I'm not afraid to give it a shot. We'll be better off, right? You'll get more stuff done. So now what we're gonna do is paint it with this rust barrier from Duplicolor. And you really just knock off the scaly bits and then paint right over it. So, and spray it over. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna tape up the edges all the way around. I'm gonna take it outside and then paint it. I'm also gonna put just a nice little bit right in here, just right here where I grinded it down really good, so I'll have just fresh metal, and I want to make sure that's there. Everything else is pretty coated, so I'm just going to do this pad right here where it bolts on, just so again it doesn't rust right there. So let me get it masked up and I'll bring you guys outside when we paint it. So again, just with the rust barrier, Duplicolor rust barrier, I can put this on pretty good. Looks pretty good. Okay, let me get this masking tape off. And then now, just wiping the edges, just so we get a nice clean line, minimize some overspray. Super easy. That's just rust right there, it looks like. And then when we polish this up, we'll get off any other little bit of paint left behind right here. Before I get into polishing the fender, just wanted to show you, I did the same thing last night off camera to the headlight bucket. I have to clean the headlight bucket and still polish it, but that's it. And I also, this is the back part of, I think it goes this way, that the tail light hooks onto. That I did the same thing. I cleaned it up, hit it with the rust barrier, and nobody's ever going to see this. But you know what? It'll be so much cleaner. It goes this way. It'll be so much cleaner because everything else is going to look good. So why not make that look good? So this, I'll go ahead and polish the headlight bucket and the tail light and the rear fender right now to see if I can get it cleaner. We're going to try first with just a little chrome polish, see what happens. So again, I am not an expert because you're probably not supposed to pour it on like that, but we did pressure wash this thing outside, so I'm going to see what happens if we go ahead and hit it with this and see what happens. This right here. It has some blue on the pad from the CB350 when we polished that paint up. This guy right here, when we polished this paint up. So you guys remember that? If not, you can check out the video right overhead. So yeah, look at that. Let's see if we can. Come on, that's not so bad, right? Wow. You just got to remember you got paint on underneath, so you don't grab it from the edges. So let me see if I can keep going. That was just one little quick pass. Let's see if we can get see if some of that paint will come off. I may need to use some carb cleaner. Let me try that first. Yeah, it seems to be coming off. I got so lucky with my 1968 CB750K1 when I bought it at auction online for $400. It had been spray bombed completely. Everything was painted black. The chrome side covers were painted black and everything, and I was able to clean up the chrome side covers on the tank with just some carb cleaner. Yeah, that makes a big difference. All this stuff is just a cleaning. These old motorcycles, give them a little good cleaning, they look a whole lot better. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, look at that. All the blue's gone. Okay, I got the Dremel with the little brass brush on it. Remember, we had a little bit of surface rust around right here, but it's not there anymore. Let's just put some more out here, and we'll go around. That should be enough. See what it looks like. Again, so would it take us a half hour, maybe a half hour, maybe 40 minutes from start to finish to weld up the crack, to weld in the other plate, to paint it, and then to polish it. Still has some work that can be done to it, but for where we are right now, I think it looks considerably better. You know, when you think about where we came from, I still have some more rubbing to do right in here, it looks like. But we got the paint off. Remember, this thing had paint all over it. And we got it nice and polished all the way around. Still needs some more, but underneath is perfectly usable, perfectly fine. And now we get to bolt the rest of it back together so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, here we are with the the tail light. As you guys saw, I pressure washed this earlier. I've just got this is a tub of towels wipe just to make sure it's clean. We are going to have to try to get off some of this paint that's right here. Before I bolt it on, I'm going to clean it up real good and I'm going to make sure everything works. Let's give this a shot, see what happens. Got just a little bit of chrome polish. But that, way better than that, right? When you look at it, it's just a little, and I didn't do much to it. Let's see if we can get that off. We'll see if we do some more. Let me look around. I may have some Headlight Restore. Okay, now I'm back. I got 1,000 grit sandpaper. I've got 1,500. I got 3,000 over there. So let me go ahead and knock out this real quick. Let me hit this with a lot of lube. And I should be able to get this paint off now. And then we'll just work it up. There, good. Come on. Let me get that off. There we go. Okay, much better. Let's just do a quick run through here. Making sure we got it really good. There's a little something, I think I saw right around here. Yeah, a little something right around here. Just take some of the edges off of it. And then rotate a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay, now let's move up. Or we can wipe it so we can see if we want, but it's all there. I'm going to move up to 1500. Probably more like 1700 because this is a well-used piece of sandpaper. Okay, let's wipe this sucker off real quick. Wipe it. Yeah, we should be able to get this nice and clean now. And I enjoy doing this stuff to these motorcycles. Because I believe it's the little things that make a big difference, right? It's like detailing your car and not vacuuming it out on the inside. It's the next thing. At 3, make sure. Now we're up to 3000 grit sandpaper. Oh, get you out of the way. Let me fold this guy over. And again, I am not an expert on this. There are probably loads of people that know how to do this and do it, but I'm just trying to take the old taillight I have and make it look better. A little bit more juice. Okay, let's see what we're looking like. Got a little bit of a imperfection right there, but I think once it's like a scratch or something. I think once we buff it down, I think it'll look a little bit better. Well, let's try it. Let's see if we can get some shine out of it now. Fingers crossed. Put just a little couple of dabs, maybe some on the side. spin this guy so I can get it here. It really is a two-person job. You need somebody else to hold it. Now we could have gotten by with just hitting it with the chrome polish in the beginning and been done. I believe we could have made it through with that. Get another rag, but I think this may look a little better. We may have to run through one more time, but that's not a bad looking taillight now. For what we did, right? Needs a little more love, and I think once I get it bolted to the fender, I'll do some more work on it because I won't have to try to hold it down. I'll be able to have it there. And now I'm just going to take and run through on this plastic chrome. All the way around. Oh, you gotta watch out, it'll get your shirt. There we go. Yeah, we'll do it one more time when we're on the, once it's on the bike, or on the fender, excuse me, because in that way we can make sure it doesn't, I don't have to worry about trying to wrestle it. But when you look at it, not a bad looking outcome. It didn't take us long. We went ahead and wet sanded, buffed and polished, or just polished it with some chrome polish, which we'll do a little bit more to it as we get started. But let's go ahead and let me get a battery over here so we can test to make sure all this stuff works. Okay, so I got a battery here. Negative is going to go to, I only have 3 wires. I have green and yellow, green and brown. So let's see which one does which. That bulb is working. This one is not working. This must be brake light. And then this must be, no, this is brake light. And this is running light. But this running light is not working. But everything else works. There's some cracks in here. It's not too bad. There's some cracks in here. It's not too bad. But I got it. Let me change this bulb here. Let me see what it is, and then we'll change that bulb. Let me see if I have some. Okay, we're back from the hardware store, and I've already put the bulbs in. I got 1157 red, and then the other bulb ended up being 631. And then I bought in case I don't like the LED bulbs, I bought a couple extra, an extra pack of the 1157. So let's see what it looks like. That's the running lights. We got them in red, and then there, and then these are the brake lights. I think brake lights. So I guess if you do everything, yeah. So let me put them in and see what they look like. We're good. I think that'll be okay. That's the brake light. That's pretty bright. It's pretty red, so I think I kind of like it. I think we'll keep it. Good deal. Let me get the fender. I'll also put some dielectric grease in there too. Too bad. Let me see if I can polish it up a little bit. Let me get the stuff and I'm going to see if I can polish it up a little bit more since I've got this thing holding it itself down. So, okay, so we're going to try to polish this up a little bit more since I've got it mounted to the fender. Yeah, I think I'll take this. I think I'll take that. The one, considering what it looked like before. Make sure I don't, everything, just the chrome trim. cleaned up good. The fender itself looks good. I still have a little bit of this guy down here that I got to try to get rid of, but I'm going to do a little bit more around it now that I don't have to hold it. And so, like I said before, we're doing a budget build on this. We're going to try to spend little money on it to build this bike. But just because you spend little doesn't mean it's got to look like you spent little, right? We got $400 into the motorcycle. I bought some pieces and parts between the exhaust and everything. We're probably up to about maybe 800 bucks total right now is where we are in the motorcycle, which is not bad at all. Let me see if I make sure I don't have any wax in there. So, but it's not bad. I think I'm gonna polish it up. I'm gonna go from this. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of polish to it, see if it gets a little shinier. But if we can get by with getting it done and be sub $1,000 on this motorcycle, that's what we're trying to do. You know, anything we can do to get, look, I just found the headlight restore kit that we were looking for earlier. And just to be clear, it was right in the front. Sometimes it is right in front of your face, right? So, let me get this guy for this. I like this wax. We'll put it on that just to give it a little bit of a this Tech Wax 2.0. We're just gonna wipe it on, just a nice light coat. It'll smooth out any scratches that we have, and it wipes off. Plus it smells really good. And we'll put it back in. Note to self, the headlight restore kit is right inside the cabinet where it should be. Okay, I got this on, just a nice little coat. Put it away and then we'll wipe it off real quick. That is, you know, not bad. Not bad for an hour or so's work. Considering we look at this, we started with, if you remember, we started with a fender that was all busted up. We were cracked over here. We repaired the crack, and then reinforced it. We reinforced it right here with a little piece of sheet metal. Rust, whatever that stuff's called, duplicolor, rust. I want to call it rust reformer, but that's Rust-Oleum. Rust barrier underneath, just to keep it from turning rusty or getting worse. We had used the rust barrier on the housing, and now this guy's ready to be bolted on. Put new bulbs in, so it's good to go, right? Little things make a big difference, and most of this stuff you won't see, but we know it's good. So let's move on to the next. Okay, we have the headlight bucket. We already did the rust barrier on the inside. Now we're just going to polish up the outside. It already looks good. We're going to polish it up. After this will be the headlight bracket that holds the headlight on. There we go, and then we'll just buff it off. Again, not looking for, we're not doing a 100-point concourse restoration to where it's going to be perfect. We'll change hardware where we change hardware, but we'll try to clean up hardware in most places and avoid, you know, spending extra money. But we will touch pretty much everything on this bike. You know, and when I say concourse, I mean, we're not trying to make it 100-point perfect. That's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to make it look better than what it looked before when we drug it home, right? And if we can do that, we make it look a little bit better, and there we go. So let me get the Let me get the headlight bucket, the headlight bracket, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So what we're going to do with the headlight bracket, you can see how it moves up. How the whole, you follow the backbone of the bike, and the whole thing moves up. It's in the headlight brackets are moving at the same angle as the top tube, right? So what I'm going to do is take these off, switch sides, so that instead of this guy pointing up, it points flat. So I can drop the whole level of the bike down. So I can just bring it down so it doesn't sit so far. So the bike doesn't move this way. It can level off a bit more. But we want to keep it stock looking, but just freshen it up a bit. So let me get it on the bench and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about here. We're gonna go ahead and remove these pins. They just looks like they just kind of are welded in back here. We're gonna pop them out and then go ahead and flip it from one side to the other. At the same time, while I'm there, I'm gonna go ahead and paint, before I mount these back up, I'm gonna paint this bracket, and then we're gonna paint the inside of this just like what we've been doing, just to keep the rust down, right? Just to keep the rust down. Then we'll polish, once it's all together, we'll polish this back up. Okay, so we have these, everything masked off. We're gonna go ahead and paint it. I've already cleaned them up really good. Carb clean and brake clean. Now let's just wipe it off. Again, going all the way around. Look at the difference. See right there, we had some overspray, but that just cleans it up. See, if those people that would have painted this motorcycle before would have just cleaned up the blue, we would have been in so much better shape. It's just taking a little bit of effort. Now we'll let that guy dry. I said we'd let it dry, and then I picked it back up. We'll flip it over and make sure it's good and clean. Again, look at that. All the way up. Just if you're using a paper towel, just keep rotating your paper towel around, because you'll just start transferring it. It's kind of like anti-seize. Once you start putting it on, it gets everywhere. So then we'll flip that over, and we can polish up these sides while it's drying. Yeah, that's good enough. But that's considerably better. And I'm going to soak them a little bit more and see what we can come up with. Okay guys, so here you have it. One last look at the frame before we paint it. So looks pretty good. We've already went ahead and hit it with some Scotch-Brite to sand it all down, smooth it out a little bit. And now we're gonna get ready to paint it with a foam brush in the Eastwood Chassis Black Extreme. This little foam brush, this stuff lays down really nice and easy. We'll end up putting probably 3 coats on. We'll put a nice coat on tonight, nice and thin, and then we'll come at it. The one thing I will do is take photographs of these decals, so that once we're done, I make sure I stick them in the right place, and then we'll go ahead and paint. Okay guys, so we're back. This is the front fender off the CB750. We're gonna give it the same treatment we did to the rear fender. We're gonna buff and polish it, spray it with some rust barrier underneath, just to clean it up, just to keep it nice and clean. We'll mask off everything when we go to spray it. The one thing we will do is try to pound out some of these dents. We've got 3 kind of dents in here. And so just want to pound them out just to make them look a little bit better. So let me try to get you in here so you can see it. And I am not a body person. I just happen to own one of these things. And so I'm going to kind of beat on it, see if I can get it out. See if I can get these to look a little better. Apologize for the noise. You guys wearing headphones? Still has a little crease in it, and we'll come at it a little bit more. It's getting there. Not bad. Still a little bit, you can see it, still a little right there. Let's see if we can get that Kind of hard to see on this side, but I think it's right. Come on. Compared to where it was before, we'll try to beat this guy out a little bit more. Well, that's not too bad. Let's see if we can tackle this. And guys, just give it a shot. What's the worst thing happen? Right? What's the worst thing happen? It's already got a dent in it. I can either make the dent bigger or I can make the dent smaller. I'm hoping for the smaller side. Definitely smaller. Let me see if I can smooth it out a little bit more. It's hard right in here with this. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's starting to come out. It's better. It's going to be kind of probably where I leave it. Maybe I'll come back at it again. Kind of my normal process is I normally kind of beat on it a little bit, then I'll come back to it a little later. I'd rather do too little than too much, but it is better. Let's see if I can get a little bit more. I just said I'd rather do too little, and I'm going to do a little bit more. Getting there. That little crease, which is right under here, I'm not going to be able to get out, but it's not bad. I can probably get this one out right there a little bit more, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that's not bad. We're going to leave it. Better than the big dent that was in it. Yeah, this Fender's not in bad shape. I mean, we got rid of those few little dings, and guys, I know they're still there, but it's better than it was. Okay guys, here you have it. CB750K 1979 paint. The frame has all been painted. I went ahead and put I had to put the fender and tail light on, although I don't have hardware, so I just zipped it up just so I could see what it looked like. Next, we're going to paint the side covers, tank, and cowl to get it ready for decals. And then as that's drying, we're going to go ahead and pull the carb off and rebuild it. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Do us a favor, like, tag, share, and follow us on Instagram at Motorcycle Rewind, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks again, guys, and have a great day.